Hi, welcome to my little YouTube channel. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been back on YouTube. I've been taking a little bit of a break during these hot summer months, because for most of the year I've been putting a video out once every 2 to 3 days. So yeah, I thought I'll have a little bit of a break. And to be frank, I started to get to the point where I was starting to run out of items to film, because I have basically got everything that I need in this vehicle. I am very happy with my setup that I've got here at the moment. There is a couple of changes that I'll be doing in the future that Terry's going to be helping me. If you're watching, Terry, hello, and Robin, and looking forward to go camping with you this coming week with Steve, Rob 1 and Rob 2, and I think there might be a couple others coming. I'm not too sure who's coming, but we're going out camping very soon. Now guys, I'm trying not to say this word, guys, I'm down on the banks of the Burnett River again, as you can see behind me, and I'm using a new camera today. It's the second time, basically, well, the third time I've turned it on. It's only arrived just the other day, and it's the GoPro Hero 11 Black. So I thought I'd give this a try, and I've got Starlink. So we're connected by Starlink. Now it'd be interesting to see how Starlink works here, because I do have a couple of trees in range that could be causing a problem. So hang on, let me see if I can bring up the chats on here. I think it's easier. Hang on, just bear with me. There we go, got the chats up now. Hey, how you going, Luke? Luke Reed down in Tassie. The Crisco 1969. Time to fly a kite. Oh, I tell you what. Oh, excuse me. I tell you what. I got down here, right? And it wasn't too bad when I got here. And then you can probably hear, I don't know if you can hear the whistling just off the awning. I'm a little bit worried the awning. I got guy ropes out on this side. So luckily the breeze is coming in from this side, blowing this way. And really getting around. So I don't know how strong it is, but wow, it picked up this breeze. I kid you not, Murphy's Law. It picked up when I was halfway. I had the half set up the awning. I was walking it out, and it got to about this point, and then poof, just out of nowhere, and it's just been blown constant, non-stop, and it's crazy. So luckily I've got a really good strong awning here. I don't think most awnings would have survived this, what I'm encountering right now. But even though you can still see, it's hardly moving. I think you can still see, yep, you can still see it's hardly moving. So testing 1 2 3, it's very windy. Is there any wind noise coming through the mic? I've got the mid mic kit. Unfortunately I did bring a little tripod with me, but I didn't realize that the kit that comes with these GoPros, well, it did come with it, but I left the connector on the bottom to put onto the tripod at home. I thought I've got a little Joby GoPro kit here, and I thought it would have came with all that. It's got the tripod leg, but it hasn't got that thing to screw on to hold it in place. So unfortunately I'm not able to use my better mic, but I'm using the mic that's built into the media mod here. So it's the first time I'm trying it. So hopefully it's working really well, and hopefully you're not getting too much wind noise. It is affecting the mic, is it? Alright. Means I'll have to move it in a different spot. Okay. Is that any better? Just curious. Yeah, let me know if, oh hang on, you probably can't see anything, my finger's in the way. Let me know if that's any better. To be honest, it's probably not a lot I'm going to do. So we're probably just going to keep this live feed very short. You can see the, oh I don't know if you can. I don't know, is it in shot? Can you see the Starlink? I'm worried the Starlink's going to blow away. Like guys, let me go out in the wind. And there we are. To give you an idea just how windy it is. I'm trying to shelter behind the door. I wish I had my tripod. I wonder if I can sit this here. Let me try something. Is that, I'm worried the wind's going to blow that over, but that should be okay. There we go. You actually were picking up wind noise because it's sitting in the car and there is not a lot of wind. There's a bit, but not a lot. I wouldn't say that's a great deal of wind where I had the mic setting. So the wind is just blowing, it's swirling all over the place. It's like a whirlpool going right through, but let me know if that's any better. That's better, that's good. Okay. So, hey Steve, you're on lunch. Good timing. So, now there's one thing I've noticed, and what I've never had before, is that there is a huge lag with the GoPros. I'm using the GoPro, I'm going through the GoPro to go live, connected to the Starlink satellite dish. And it's not because of Starlink. Actually, I wonder if it is because I've only got Starlink at home now. I don't have the NBN. Thank God I got rid of the NBN at home. I don't have to worry about that copper crap that I've got out in the front of the house ever again. Because I got the home version of Starlink. And for the past 8-9 days I disconnected the NBN, and I will tell you, it is the best thing I have ever done. I cannot tell you enough, guys, what a difference it is to have something that works and something that's got the speed. This thing is incredible. I'm getting consistently, mostly over 200 downloads, and it varies anywhere from about 10 up to about 35 upload is the best I've seen. So, and it's, yeah, amazing. So as you know, I've got the home version and I've paid extra for the portability, so I'm using it in portability mode right now. Although I reckon I'm probably close enough to home where I don't need the portability mode. So on a straight line I'm probably 4-5, I don't know, 4-5, I'll have to check on the map. Might be a little bit more, no, probably about 5 k's on the straight as the crow flies from my house. And I've read somewhere, I don't know if it's true, that they work within about 12 k's of your home. I don't believe it. I got to see it to be, if it's true. If it is true, well, that'll be awesome for me, because that means then I'd be able to use this portability within 12 k's as the crow flies from home, which covers quite a big area. So I could take it around Bundy and use it around about Bundy like I am now without having to pay the extra for portability, and only pay the portability when I'm going out, when I really need it and I'm going out camping in a remote area somewhere. So, but I've left it on portability because we're going away, we'll be further than 12 k's away from home. We're going away camping at a place near Childers here in the central coast of Queensland with a few mates. We're catching up, so I can't wait. Now I'm going on Thursday, so for those that come and joining with me, I know a few of you are watching live right now. I'm leaving this Thursday morning. I'm not sure what time yet. I'm going to try to get there early, and I'll be there till the Monday. So I booked in the extra day early. So Steve Webb, you was down that way recently. Awesome. We're at Childers. Throw away all those other cameras, Phil. Oh no, I still think my Sony is a better camera. Sony shits all over this by a long shot with image quality and the cameras that you can use. Wow, man, can you hear that whistling? This is just picked up like twice as strong. It's, can you hear the wind? You're not getting too much wind noise through there, I hope. Now, wow, can you hear the whistling? The whistle's it's just whistling as it's going in between the pole and the canvas. Honestly, if it was as windy as this when I got here, I wouldn't have even have left home. I would have stayed home and probably did a live feed there instead of coming down here. I didn't know the forecast. I should have checked the weather forecast. So it's crazy. But I'll tell you what, where I will use this GoPro a lot is not only just for B-rolls or something like that. It'd be nice to have in the car and you're driving along and you see something worth filming. As long as you've got enough light, you can just quickly jump out the car, hit a button, film, jump back in. Whereas with my real good camera, there's quite a fair bit of work in setting it up, and it's heavy, bulky, etc. It takes up a lot of room. But this works really, really good with live feeds. I did a test the other day, but it's unpublished. I didn't publish it. And I set the link to a couple of persons, and it came back really good. But what I love about this, and it's the first camera, I would have bought this a lot sooner, one of these GoPros, if I'd known that this feature actually worked. And I'm really happy that this feature works on this GoPro. So what am I talking about? Those long time watchers will know what I'm talking about. Let me know if the wind is too noisy, guys. Picture quality looks good. Now that's good. So I've got no one complaining about the sound. That's good. So let me know if it gets really bad. But what I love about this is the fact that image stabilization. You might have noticed I mentioned this before. The image stabilization works when you go live on YouTube. Of all the cameras that I've tried, they all bypass the image stabilizer, including my phone. Whether it's an iPhone or the Samsung that I've got here, for some strange reason, it bypasses the image stabilization. So if you're walking around holding your camera, you poor guys there are just like, it looks like an earthquake. But check this out. Now excuse, it's going to be really windy. Look how smooth, hang on, my finger's in the way. Look how smooth that is. Can you see how smooth that is? I'm just going to walk around here Now there shouldn't be any major jumpiness or jagginess like there was in the past. And Stephen, I don't know how you do that horizon lock. It doesn't work for me. So you can see how smooth that is. Look, we'll go for a walk. Now, excuse the wind guys. There's going to be a lot of wind here. I just want to show you. There's the setup. I don't know if you can see that. The camera point. So let's get out of the wind here. Now, was that really smooth? Let me try to get this back where I had it before. Stuffed up, I can't use the tripod because I don't have the screw to screw the camera in the base. Turn the camera upside down. Wouldn't that make me upside down? Don't know. Just as well I'm going camping with Steve soon, because he could show me how to use this. Yeah, I don't know if I was upside down or not. Yeah, okay, I'll have to send you a message on how to fix the horizon lock. Oh, understatement, blown a gale. Absolutely crazy. Oh, I wouldn't have left home if it was this strong before I left home. If it was this strong when I got here, I wouldn't have set up the awning. It's going to be a bit of a challenge packing the awning away, to be honest. As I mentioned before, the wind picked up as I was halfway setting this awning out. So you should have seen that bar over there, because you know it's got a hook on there. You should have seen that section of the bar from there out to the end flexing. I was worried it's going to snap, so I put a rope out and it's all good there now. Hey, I'm curious. Can you still see me? Screen keeps cutting out, so I don't know if you can see me. There we go. Yeah, you can still see me. Can you hear me from way back here? Let me know if you can still hear me. Yeah, Troy, even though it's very windy there, Phil, you handle it very well. It does. It does handle it very well. It's a bit tricky when you pack it away, as any awnings, because the whole thing is just acts as a sailcloth when you're packing it away. Luckily for me, the wind is coming from that direction, coming this way, blowing where the awning's on this side. If it was on the other side, packing away is a real challenge, but can be done. But you do got to take your time and be very careful. So yeah. Oh good, you can hear me. Oh, that's good, so I don't have to. I was hoping to use my lapel mic. I probably could, actually. It's probably too late. I don't know what happened if I set up the lapel mic now and plug it in while the camera's live and on air. Does that work, Steve, if you're still watching? No, I plug my mic now while this is turned on and while I'm live? Or is that something I have to do before I start filming? But to be honest, if I put the lapel mic on, I've got just the wind is, you won't notice because I've got short hair, but it's blown a gale here. And you can see how solid this thing is. So this is hardly working. So not only is it the strong awning, but it's also the strong mounting system that they've got in place from the company called Tough Touring, based in Melbourne, that's used the mounting system for this. So if you want something really strong, that's what you look for. Now I'm powering Starlink. You can see the dish here. I don't know if you can see the, okay, that's the router. So it's powering off my Victron inverter. So it's putting out about 45 watts AC, 230 volts, 0.2 amps is all it's consuming, which equates to DC. What's that taking out of DC? I've got the fridge running at the moment. I'd have to turn the fridge off so I can get a... I know a lot of people are wondering how much power these consume. I know my Victron system with the screen when it's on consumes 0.5 amp per hour. So we are now, okay, oh wow, okay, so it looks like we're about 4.3 amps. Oh, that's a bit more than I thought it was going to consume. I've got nothing else running, have I? No, nothing else is running. So it's showing 5 amps, 4.7, 4.5. Take 0.5 amp off that, because that's what the all the electronics and that consumes on average, which is not a problem because I'm using a 330 amp hour lithium battery. That's right, 330 amp hour. And I'm just looking at it now. So it's about 4. So we're up to 58, 59 watts at the moment. So it's about 4.5 amps. So let's turn the fridge back on now. So that's a little bit more than I thought it would consume. I'm sure the last time I tested it once, and it was around about the, and I know reason why. I tested it once and it was around about 2 to 3 amps. Now the reason why it's consuming now 4 to 4.5 amps is because there's constant data going through. So if your Starlink is on standby and you're not browsing on the internet, it uses less power, which looks like standby is around about 2 to 3 amps it uses on standby. But then as soon as you go on there and you start streaming like I am now, I'm streaming in HD quality, probably at 60 frames per second. If I dropped it down to 24, next time it'll drop the load that it needs to upload. When you're streaming, more power. So now it's about 50 watts, 0.3 amp. So before I went on live, it was on about 35 watts, 0.1, 0.2 an amp. So that's why it's drawing that 4.5 amps now, whereas on standby 2 to 3 amps. Now that's on a excuse me, let me get a drink. That's on a very efficient Victron Multi Plus, which is probably the most efficient inverter I think that you will get. So most of your other inverters out there are probably not going to be as efficient as this one. But you don't, I got a 1600 watt inverter here. You don't need to run a 1600 watt. As you can see, now it's gone up to 63 watts. When you first turn them on, initially that first startup, and then the motor kicks in and goes flat, and then after a minute or so it then angles to the optimum angle, which is facing south. When that first turns on, you're drawing about up to 150 watts. So you'll only need a inverter, 300 watts is all you need. And as you can see, a 300 watt inverter would be quite efficient. And so that gives you an idea of what it's drawing on standby out of my battery. On standby about 2-3 amps. When it's in use, when you're streaming, you know, watching Netflix or whatever, browsing around, add another one amp power consumption to that it uses out of you, actually nearly 2 amps, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's about 1.5 amps more consumption power to that. Now I'll be, when I go away camping, I'll be keeping an eye more closely on this and have exact figures, just seeing how the battery's going. That's good. We're on for nearly half an hour, and it looks like we're about halfway through on the battery. There won't be any big long, that's the only thing with the with this GoPro, is the battery's not going to last me any longer than about an hour by the looks of it. It's a live feed, will only be good for an hour, which is still long enough. Yeah, see you, Steve. Can you show us when you pack the ostrich wing? Normally I like to pack all my gear away so I'm under the shade, because it's really hot out in the sun. I like to pack the gear away first, and then the last thing left is just the awning. So then I fold the awning away, pack it away, and just jump in the car and drive off. But yeah, I'll give it a shot, eh? Soon. I'll see you if the problem is I got no tripod to put this on, so I don't even know if it'll work if I sit it on the ground or something. The grass is pretty long here. I don't think it's going to work. But I just slowly swing it around. Naturally the wind is going to lift this right up, so I pull it around and I just pull it down as I go across, pull it down and just pull it down. And then yeah, these ones here won't be so bad, they shouldn't flop up, but these two here, panels here, it's going to stick up like a balloon wants to take off. Luckily for the real strong, that's the thing with these ostrich wings, guys. I know there are copies of these being made, but I don't think they're nowhere near as good as this. For example, the 30-second awning is very similar to this, but it doesn't have a heavy duty canvas, and it doesn't have these arms on the ostrich wing are a lot stronger. So my suggestion, it's worth paying the extra money for the ostrich wing. It really is, because it can handle conditions like this. I don't think the 32nd awning would be able to handle this, because the arms are a lot weaker. What I've noticed, because on the ostrich wing you've got two arms, so you got the top one and the bottom one that goes all the way right through to the end. The 32nd awning, yes, does have those arms, double arms, but they only go up to about here, and then you've got a thin arm that goes through to the end. And I would imagine anything strong winds, they're just going to bend, I reckon. They'll just bend eventually. And you can see how strong. I've seen some other 32nd awnings, and I've noticed the pivoting brackets up here are a lot looser than they are on the ostrich wing. So they may look the same, but the quality, the materials, and the strength are not the same, but hence why they're cheaper. I mean, you're going to expect that. That's why they're cheaper. How are you finding the Wi-Fi range for the Starlink router? Yeah, fine, good. I've gone on the Facebook, Starlink Facebook users group Australia, and all these people are just complaining about it. Sure, it's not as strong as some of the routers out there. You will get routers with a much stronger Wi-Fi signal, but this is fine, especially if you're camping. If you only got a small house and you locate the router central in your house, you're going to be fine. You're going to be absolutely fine. If you've got a bigger house, or you've got a router on one end of the house, then you want to get the, I don't have it with me here, I left it at home. You want to order the Ethernet adapter from Starlink, which is $60 delivered to your door from America. And what that does is allows you to plug in another router, and that's what I've got at home. That's how I set mine at home, because I've got security cameras that go through the network, so I need the router. So I still use this, because this powers, this is what gives it power to the Starlink dish. Instead of plugging the antenna cable, if you look in the base here, instead of plugging the antenna cable into here, that plugs into your Ethernet adapter, and then from the Ethernet adapter plugs into your router. And then on the Ethernet adapter, it's got a network plug on it, and then you plug that into the WAN port, W-A-N port, on your router, and then you can use that. But I use what's called a mesh system. So I've got two. It's an ASUS brand Zen Wi-Fi AX6600. I picked it up recently on an enormous big Boxing Day sale. Recently, a lot cheap. They're quite expensive unit, but luckily for me, Boxing Day sale, I picked up one brand new, very cheap. And yeah, the Starlink router works fine in our two-story house. I have no problems either. Yeah, no, it's really good router. I mean, it's what I'm not gonna bring a separate router with me when I go camping and use it. And you're traveling, this is all you need. You don't need to go and buy another router. You just use this. You know, don't read all the the blah blah bullshit you read on Facebook that these are no good. Honestly, there's some people there that just say they're garbage. Even installers, I had professionals try to tell me the same thing. But hey, they're going to say that because they want to make a sale. They want to sell you, you know, one of their cheap. They go uptown and buy a cheap router and then whack an extra couple $100 on top of that and then charge you a whopping big installation fee. Of course they're going to sit there and say these are crap. So you don't believe all bullshit you read on those internet. There's nothing wrong with these. The only time when you'll need to run a separate router is if you've got Wi-Fi cameras at home, or you've got a network system at home, and you go get one of those. You go get the network adapter, or you got a big house, and these because yeah, the Wi-Fi signal coming out of these is not as fast, not as strong, but I tell you what, it's very, very fast, very fast. And that's really important, because when you're paying the sort of money that you're paying for this, and you'll get 200 downloads, what I'm getting, even getting close, still getting close to 200, and it was about 20 upload. I did a couple of speed tests before I went on live. See you, Terry. Okay, no worries, Steve. I'm just reading your message. I'll make sure I don't swear. I don't know, I've seen so many channels swearing. I normally don't swear, as you're aware. But when I see nonsense, garbage putting on the internet, scaring people, that makes me a little bit angry that there's people out there giving that false information. And then I swear about it. So these are fine. Now, what a lot of people don't realise is, I don't know fully what the technology is, how it works, but by default it's sharing 2.4 gigs and 5 gigs Wi-Fi network. And then apparently when you plug a device to it, it figures out for you whether your device will work on the 5 gig network or on the 2.4 network, I believe. I don't know if that's how it exactly runs, but looking into it briefly, that's how it seems to work. So, which is the Wi-Fi band. So you've got two different bands. 2.4 gig is a lot stronger signal, so it'll travel further, you get further distance, but it's a lot slower. 5 gig is a lot stronger signal, but it doesn't travel as far. Alright, so by default when you get these, they mostly connect to the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi band to get the maximum speed out of your Starlink dish. Whereas with 2.4 it's a lot slower. But you can go into the Starlink settings, hang on, so I'll bring Starlink up here. Go into settings and then go into, I think it's I think it was advanced. No, it's not advanced. Yeah, it is advanced right down the bottom, is it? No. Okay, I don't know where it is. Advanced factory reset, stove, snow melt. Advanced, it's not advanced, it might be under advanced. Here it is. So you can actually go into the settings and split the 2.4 gigs apart from the 5 gigahertz network. So if you do that, then when you go to try to connect to the Wi-Fi, then you'll have 2 separate Wi-Fi connections you can connect on. One will generally be called, like I've called my Wi-Fi configuration, my Wi-Fi name, Off-Grid Exploring. So it'll probably come up Off-Grid Exploring, and there'll be another one of Off-Grid Exploring with the 5 gigahertz on the end. So then what that does, and what that means, is that when I then go to connect to the Wi-Fi of this one here, I can choose either the 2.4 gig network or the 5 gig network. So the 2.4, remember, it's a slow Wi-Fi band, so it's probably, in high probability, is you're going to get slower speeds on your internet. It's not because the connection between the dish and the satellites is slower. It's going to be the connection between this to your device, particularly if it's going through a wall or at the other end of the house. Okay? Now the reason I want to explain this is for another reason, main reason, that I'm going to come up with. So I want you to be aware of that. So now, if you've got a big house, or you've got security cameras, you've got network at home, and you like to use the network cables, which is much better than Wi-Fi in general anyway, you got to make sure that you select the network router that's going to give you the speed that you're paying for. All right, if you're going to pay this sort of money to get Starlink, and it's capable of these speeds, why would you want to go and buy these cheap routers that's got these real slow Wi-Fi on them? So you want to get what's called Wi-Fi 6. So when you go get a router, look for the right routers that's got the feature Wi-Fi 6, because that's the really fast connections, which means you'll be able to, if you've got kids in the house and someone's got a TV in a room, another one's got a PlayStation, another one's got a laptop, another one's on the phone, you're sitting in the lounge, you know, watching Netflix or YouTube, and your wife's sitting there watching YouTube on Facebook and so on. You're going to want that Wi-Fi 6 to get the maximum speed throughout your house, but not just that, it also gets you the maximum speed that your Starlink can provide. So look for the ones with the Wi-Fi 6. You generally pay more money for them, but that's the reason why. So Paddy Island. What's Paddy Island? I think that is Paddy Island. I know that's an island there, but I'm not too sure what it's called. And I think it is, I've heard of Paddy Island, so it must be. Yeah, I think that's an island. I'm not too sure. It looks like it's an island. There's a nice big sailing yacht moored off to the entrance there. That actually it's not a sailing yacht, it's just a motorhome. He was parked there when I came down here for lunch a couple of weeks ago. Look at these, there's these people out in the boats in this side of the water trying to catch fish. I don't know how they do it. So let me check the battery power on this. Alright, the battery's nearly flat. I thought we haven't got much left on here. Yeah, Lee wished the router had a guest network. Yeah, that's another thing too I didn't mention. It's limited a lot of features. It's a very basic router. So you can't go in here, you've got no port forwarding, you've got nothing like that. Okay, it's just something simple. It's just designed to just give you Wi-Fi internet. And that's it, nothing else really. It just gives you the Wi-Fi internet. Very fast Wi-Fi internet. Very fast. In fact, as I'm streaming here now, if I go in here and do a speed test, and wait till it comes up. It's like what I had before. So about 100 download and uploads about 10, 11. But it all depends where the satellite is at that point of time when you do a speed test. So when you're on Starlink, each time you run a speed test, you're going to get different. Like I'll run another one now, that was 100. So I'll run another one now. And now we're up to 150 and we're climbing higher. They've got 60 and uploads about 11, the same, 12. So uploads are definitely slower than what I'm getting at home. And plus I'm not getting a prioritized service right now because I'm probably far enough away. Well, I don't know if I am far enough away from home. Run another speed test. Yeah, up to about 150 thereabouts now. So consistently running around that 150. Let's go into Utna, whatever it's called, run a speed test through there. And we're doing all this while we're streaming live too. Of course, that'll some. And yeah, about the same. We're looking at about 100 here now. So now we're 180, so probably like one of the later sets probably coming ahead really. What I'm interested to see what dropouts there is. Go into statistics and show me outages. Alright, yeah, no, I haven't had any outages longer than 2 seconds, which I'm surprised because I've got a couple of big trees right in front of here, and I've got about 4 outages less than 1 second, possibly obstructed, most of them 0.2 of a second. So yeah, very good. So yeah, can't complain about that. I'm on RV Plant Newcastle. Yeah, you see, you'll be dealing with probably a bit of congestion there, with Sydney just because you'll be pointing just overhead of Sydney. so you'll have quite a bit of congestion, but that's still very fast speed, 120/20, very fast. It's only just come out, new features for 2023. Steve might be talking about the go live through the GoPro. Let's see what else we got here. So this is going to, let me just check, sorry. Oh, we're going for 52 minutes. We may, I do have two spare batteries, actually. Give me a tick, I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to move them so they're not in the sun. Yeah, no, it's all good. They're not in the sun. So I might give you a bit of a look at the setup here, eh? There we go. You're probably not going to be able to hear me much. There's probably going to be a fair bit of wind noise shortly. But I'll walk out in the wind and I'll show you the setup here. There we go. There we go. I'm curious to know how much wind noise there is. You're probably not going to be able to hear me really well. But I won't walk in front of the satellite dish, because I might momentarily lose signal if I do that, I would imagine. So this is where wouldn't this make an awesome campsite here? Mind you, people do come down and camp here illegally. I'm sure backpackers come here in their vans. I've come down here during the day and seen people set up with vans. So let's go one down here. The volume's probably going to be a little bit low. That's why I got the camera close to me mouth. We're a little bit sheltered from the breeze here. So have a look at the river. Look at how clear it is. When we had those big floods here, it really cleaned the river. Tell you, this is a nice. Wow, I could have drove down here and parked right down there. That would have been a really nice spot. I would have been, we're out of the breeze here. But it's that's really steep. I don't know if it shows, but it's a really steep angle to drive in and out of, but I've got a 4 drive. Should be able to handle that, no problems. So big car run. Bundy Port way out there in the mouth of the river, out that way. And turn up this way, you got the Bundy Rum Distillery and the Bundaberg City just there. So we'll just go back up here. Is that really smooth? What's it like? It's a nice angle shot there. That'll make a nice photo. I wonder if I could take a photo of that. I'll have to go and take a photo of that. And here's the speaker. I need coffee machine. I need a follow-up video on that ice maker. Guys, this is going to cut out shortly. My guess on getting 1 hour out of this battery looks like it might be spot on. So can still hear you okay. This is a GoPro Hero 11 Black with the media mod. But to tell you the truth, I tested this out on a live feed a couple of days ago. I've only had the GoPro for 3 days. I tested this out on a live feed a couple of days ago, just using a built-in mic on the camera. It sounded great. I thought it was fine. The media mod is good for plugging in an external mic. So once I've got this sorted out properly, so now before we run out, I'll put this back here. So now, see my big gut in the way. I've been trying to lose some weight, but now that I've got Starlink, it's about anywhere I go camping now, I've got good solid strong signal. And now that I've got this GoPro here, which is very quick, just grab and shoot, I'll be able to, and I can walk around with it and have don't have jump and the phone's going live, and I don't go live as much anymore. I can now start doing more live feeds like this, particularly when I'm out camping now. So this coming Thursday to the following Monday, I'm going to be out camping with a couple other YouTube channels that were on before. Three other YouTube channels. So there'll be 4 YouTube channels together. And I'm not going to... I don't think I'll do too much filming, to be honest, guys. Because we're down there camping to have some fun, not to go there filming. So I don't know if I'll do it. Well, I might do, I want to do a video on Steve's Renogy setup that I set up for him. And now that it's complete, that his electrician wired the 240 volt in, because I'm not allowed to do that. And so now he's got that all done, I'll do a video on that, and then that'll be edited, and I'll probably do a couple other videos on a couple other items here. But I said, I could be camping with other people, so I'm not going to be wandering off doing filming. We've got, be sitting and have some drinks, going for bushwalks, going for drives. There's a fair bit to see around there. There's some nice rock pools and nice old towns with old pubs, etc. A dam to go check out. So a little bit of sightseeing. Wouldn't mind doing a little bit of driving around, sightseeing and that. So yeah. The battery's going great. What are we on now? Alright, we're still on. Almost just on 1 hour. That's a good guess. I predicted we might get 1 hour, but I'm streaming at 180 60 frames per second. I should drop down to 24. I might have got longer life out of it, but next time I do a live feed with this, I'll have to use an external battery so I can get longer time out of it. So before we go, don't lose weight, we love you just the way you are. No, I gotta you lose weight. Oh, slowly, sorry, you were breaking up down at the river and video was slightly blurry. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I've actually wandered off quite a fair bit distance away from the Starlink router. Connected to the Starlink router. If I had moved it probably out here a bit this way, so the car's not blocking the signal. Yeah, I wasn't thinking then. Oh, it's a cute little willy wagtail to see you. Yeah, I was probably too far away from the router. I wasn't thinking of that. So I've got these people pulled up in this truck down here just to the side here, just standing there staring at me. When I got here there was a guy, I don't know, it's getting a bit spooky coming to this spot here of late. When I come here there's some weird people come here and they just stare at you. They're probably thinking I'm crazy. Who am I talking to? Not as scary as when I got down here. There was a guy up in the bush just up here. Holy shit, he's still there. He's just sitting there. He's just standing there staring at me with this big spear pole. And then an hour later he's still there, far out. Oh well. It's the first time I've been down here on a weekend and I'm getting a little bit, don't feel a bit unnerving feeling. Seeing people just blatantly just staring at me, one from the front, one from the back. So now let's see. Oh, I'd have to put the Starlink router inside the vehicle. I know someone wants to see me. Oh, here comes the Bundy Bell. If you ever down in Bundy, there's this old, it looked like what used to be a paddle ship, a little paddle ship steamer, but now it's got a motor on it, and they do like, so it looks like it's just over an hour tours. He left about an hour and a half. Looks like there's about an hour and a half tours. And got nearly an hour and a half ago, and he's just coming back now. I went on it once, and it was quite good. It's a nice little tour of the Burnett River. They leave just near Key Street at a little cafe on Key Street in the park in the city town centre, and you go on these rides on it. See if I can film it for you, but mind you, this battery's probably going to run out shortly and I can't zoom in. So actually I've got 12% power left on the battery. There we are, we're doing better than I expected, 12%. So that's alright. Can you see it? It's fairly close. This lamp is going to on the on. So looks like there's some younger folks on it than I normally see, probably because it's a weekend. Each time I'm down there, I usually always see them come past. It's always full of pensioners. And now, today being Saturday, can you see me? Yeah. Today being Saturday. Oh, my battery indicator just turned to red. So, oh, dreaded chef, how you going? Wow, 100 beers last night. Actually, that reminds me, I got to go to the Bundy Rum Distillery now and go get some drinks, rum and coke. I think I'm going to get some rum and coke for me at the camping event. And I think I've got, yeah, I've got one here. So I'll go buy a 6-pack, and that'll do me for the camping event. Okay. Unleash your inner pirate and take that ship. Yeah, it's a cute little boat. I was talking to me older sister, and we always saying we've got to go on it one day, so we definitely have to do that trip. So what's the time? Oh, I'm waiting for the masonry kit for the Starlink, because I want to permanently mount this power lead at home, but I've purchased an additional lead to keep in the vehicle, so when I want to use the portability mode, that way when I leave in home, and I've got a 4G backup at home as well, so as soon as I disconnect the Starlink, my 4G modem automatically cuts in, and when I go back home, my 4G modem, my Starlink will automatically cut back in. That way I can keep in contact back at home. But let's check. So I'm waiting for the masonry kit so I can mount the since okay, shipment on the way, scheduled to depart on the next planned movement. So it's 1:48. This is just no. So it's at Sydney. So however long it takes to get from Sydney to where I am here, which all depends which route it takes. Yeah, no worries, dreaded chef. Anything you want to know about the camera, just flick the message over. Alright, I'm going to see what time it is, 11:48. No wonder I'm hungry. So I'm going to go to the Bundy Rum Distillery and get some drinks for camping. And then not far down the road from there is a Hungry Jack's. So I'm going to go down and sit there and enjoy Hungry Jack's. And then I'm probably going to go and visit my older sister for a little while. And then I'll go back home and have a shower, sit down and watch a little bit of cricket if it's on today. Or otherwise go on YouTube and catch up with some of my favourite YouTube channels that puts out videos on a Saturday. That sounds like fun. So before this thing cuts out, we'll call it at that. I was hoping Mark would come. Been on an adventure around Australia on Monday. I was hoping I would have caught up with Buck when he's passing through, but unfortunately I know he stopped